welcome everyone right here to the Top Royal Rumble Moment stream. As always, I'm with 4K D-Ray. How you doing tonight, man?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And Danny will be in shortly. He just got off work, so he'll be in shortly. So let's see who's here tonight. I saw one name pop up, and it's the man, the myth, the legend, the number 3 entrant into this year's Royal Rumble. Because we know 3 wins it all. It's Jerry. How you doing, man? How you doing, Jerry? Yes, this stream's gonna be fire, man. And Ben. Okay, so tonight what we're going to do, since you're here, Jerry, me, D-Ray, and Danny are going to go through our top 3 Rumble matches. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Royal Rumble match itself, but matches at the Royal Rumble event. And then after we've gone through all 3 of them, we're going to go into the prediction side of things, and we're going to predict the show coming up Saturday. So I hope everyone's ready for this. And as always, look at the ticker down below that looks like the Royal Rumble logo. Hit that like button, hit that bell notification, and please subscribe to myself, D-Ray, and Danny. So great content coming from all 3 of them. And this is something that is more than movies, gentlemen. So let's get going. So, D-Ray, your number, like we started with the top 3. So what got you, first of all, before Danny gets in, what got you into the Royal Rumble match? Like, is it one of your top pay-per-views or?
It actually ain't. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
It's one of my least favorites, along with Survivor Series. I just never really cared for the Rumble. It's good to see all the big names in the ring at the same time.
Yeah.
But to me, it just never quite works very well. You can kind of already gauge how things are going to go with the Rumble. It's not many things they can do different with it. So it's definitely not a favorite of mine. I've always hated how a lot of times with the Royal Rumble, you would see some of the kind of like legends or wrestlers that haven't been around for a while that aren't as active as the others. They'll come in and win the championship that night. That's one thing I definitely hated about the Royal Rumble over the past at least decade or so.
Yeah, I agree there. It's one of my favorites just because I like who's going to debut or who's going to return in this match themselves. So either set something up for WrestleMania, a match. I don't want to see anyone returning like Edge and winning it all. I don't like seeing stuff like that, or even The Rock coming back and doing stuff like that. Yep. I don't personally like seeing that. I like seeing, if done properly, it will build an up and comer. Like, think of Shawn Michaels when he first won. He wasn't necessarily an up and comer, but he was on one of his. He wasn't as popular as he was yet.
Correct.
Shortly off of becoming a singles wrestler, and then he goes from 1 to 30, and his career just takes off from there. I kind of view it as like the old King of the Ring used to be. Hey, Emmett, how are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, what's up, Emmett? Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you. I always viewed it, like I was saying, like the old King of the Ring, whereas that King of the Ring is your next step into becoming the main champ soon. So that's how I view the Rumble in itself, because it's that straight shot to Mania, and usually if you get that straight shot to Mania, you're the next guy up, or you're one of them in their minds that you're one of the next guys. So, D-Ray, let's just start with your number 3.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So my number 3 is going to be a little weird because it's not really just one set moment, one match or anything within the Royal Rumble. So mine kind of started, I believe, the first women's Royal Rumble was probably like 2017 or 2018. I think 18. Okay. So this is all about like one specific wrestler. I'm hoping she comes back on Saturday night. We shall see. Not a lot of things going on. Talk about her, but Naomi, I think she's really transcended and helped bring the Royal Rumble back to like a bigger status with the things that she's done in each Royal Rumble since then. She always makes sure she has some type of moment that you hadn't seen before with, landing outside the ring, but not touching her feet down. And then she does something acrobatic every time. So that's my number 3 because that's kind of what the Royal Rumble is all about. That kind of that moment, and it's always been about somebody either not landing on their feet or two people landing on their feet at the same time. There was always something with the Royal Rumble, so she kind of brought something into the middle of it instead of at the end with there being some type of controversy. So it's always fun to see her come out because you're going to get something. And even, Kofi Kingston's the same way. He's starting to do that same thing in the Royal Rumble. So I think she really helped lift the Royal Rumble in for the women's side and really make it into something to watch. Because, the women's wrestling just doesn't get the viewing that the men does. If you watch the ratings from week to week, you'll see women's wrestling ratings just go down when they are on screen. So I think she really brings something to the Royal Rumble to make you want to sit there and watch for 45 minutes or however long that match is going to be.
Oh, I agree. It's not my number 3, but I agree with you about having the women's match be more of a spectacle and more popular. I'm reminded, what was it, last year? Mickie James showed up as the Impact Knockouts champion, which is funny because she's current Knockouts champion again. So it's like, is that going to happen again? So, but no, I mean, that was a pleasant surprise. Here it is, she is the top female wrestler of an organization outside of WWE, and they still address her as such.
Right.
Okay. A Pepsi match. There we go, D-Ray.
And like that, that's a good thing about, Triple H having a little bit of say-so. I'm sure he doesn't have full-fledged say-so. I don't believe that, but there's more possibilities of things that can happen within these matches come this weekend. So, and we'll get to that later.
Exactly. My number 3, well, like you said, anything can happen in the Royal Rumble match. My number 3 happens to be this guy did not get eliminated just once, not twice, but 3 times.
I know what it is.
Yes, you do. It's the 3 Faces of Foley.
Yep.
Dude love Cactus Jack and Mankind. I just love seeing that. Yeah, he didn't win, but it was always good. It was always good to see him wrestle as all 3 personas in one match. And that's a feat that hasn't been done because no one's really had 3 characters besides Bray. So right now, and so it's like, well, what would the only other one would be the Undertaker? What will he do? Come out as a biker? Come out as the funeral taker, and then the dead man? So it's like, or Hogan doing it, as Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Hogan. So yeah, I know Holland. It's Pitch Black Mountain Dew matches. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think that year that you're talking about with the 3 Faces of Foley, that was one of the years because I like when they do the setup like this because they do it for WrestleMania. Sometimes they haven't done it in a long time, but it's the short alleyway, and then they got the door that just kind of opens up, and then the wrestler comes out. I love that entrance, because it's very tight and narrow, and it's right there with the fans. So to me, it looks better than that long walkway.
Hey, hey, Mike, thanks for showing up, man. I mean, I agree, D-Ray. I like the one, especially when Cena returned, and at Triple H's in the ring, and you just all of a sudden the door opens up. I like that. I also like the one they had last year, which wasn't necessarily short. It was just like the screen wall, just a smaller screen wall in the back. There was no video wall. It was just Royal Rumble, like the number, and then their name showed up. I'm like, that was kind of cool, in my opinion. So, number 2, D-Ray. Number 2.
All right, number 2. Oh man. So this is tough. I'm gonna go Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
2007. Was it 07?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Undertaker won and went on to face I forgot who and won the championship.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was the match where they was both laying down Undertaker rose up. He had the
Yes.
blood coming all off his face, and then Shawn Michaels did the kick up. That was one of the best finishes for a match in as far as single matches for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was kind of an iconic moment, just seeing Taker sit up like that and Shawn Michaels just kip up. Yeah. My number 2 happened. It's probably the more recent one on my list. It's 2016. D-Ray, you don't want none. You don't want none. The debut.
AJ Styles.
Yeah, the debut of the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Yes, it kind of got botched seeing it live on TV because they kept the camera on Roman too much and didn't actually show who it was when he first came out. But I there's a guy, like I said with Mickey earlier, who actually carried a company for 2 decades. Yeah, who carried a company for 2 decades on his back, and then all of a sudden shows up in the WWE. It's like, here I am, and it was in the prime spot for him to win it all too. It's the number 3 spot. Yeah, Bob Backlund lasted 61 minutes. Yeah, that's one thing I have to give it to these guys for the match. Yes, pretty much it's just a bunch of punch, kick, struggle in the corner. Punch, kick, struggle in the corner. Well, it's a bunch of that, but it's 60 plus minutes of everything. So it's technically it is a long, grueling match for some of these guys.
Was the year AJ Styles came, was that the year like before they started trying to force feed Roman Reigns and he had like all the Shield was in the ring and he came in, he kind of dominated people and started eliminating a lot of people? Was that year?
Yeah. That was before that year. That was the year where I think wasn't Roman champion in that Rumble?
I'm not sure.
Wasn't that the number one and then Triple H eliminates him or something like that?
Been.
Yeah, I think that was the one. Yeah, so
back and lasted 61 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I was saying. It's like, say what you will about the match and how people are just not doing much in the match at times, but it is a very grueling match. Like you're out there for 61 minutes. You're not trained to go that long in a match. You're trained maybe 5, maybe 10, 20 minutes tops most of the time. So, yeah. I don't want to get through all 3 of them before Daddy shows up, but yeah. Hey Jerry, tell us what is your number 3, man. Tell us what your
you guys hit us in the chat with some of your top 3 Royal Rumble
moments,
matches or moments.
I mean, one of the things I like seeing too is what celebrities are going to show up. Like we've had Drew Carey, we've had a few others. I kind of like seeing that just because, not necessarily sets up anything for WrestleMania, but you're like, hey, that's interesting. Why is that person here? Or the only reason Drew Carey was in it, that's the one that sticks in my mind the most because they were in Cleveland that year for the Rumble. So he's a big Cleveland. He's from Cleveland, so it's pretty much.
Like and I mean, I know it cost them a lot, but I like to see Bad Bunny again. He doesn't have to be in the WrestleMania, but I'm sure they would rather spend the money for WrestleMania to recoup it back. But I think him coming out in Royal Rumble would be pretty cool.
Well, here's for those of you who like the WWE video games. It was just released that Bad Bunny is the promo buy for you to pre-buy it. You get to play as Bad Bunny day one if you pre-buy it. So any one of the versions you could get it as Bad Bunny. So I'm like, is it really want me to buy it because that's the incentive? Yeah. Johnny Knoxville. Yeah, I remember that one. Yep. I thought, I'm like, is he going to win it all? Like, really? Where he came out at, hey Chandler, how's it going, man?
What's up, Chandler?
Yeah. So, like I said, Holland, and Chandler and Jerry, and like D-Ray also said, tell us what some of your guys' favorite Royal Rumble moments are, if you have any. I mean, honestly, D-Ray, this is more of one of their more theatrical productions that they put on.
Yeah. I think that's why I don't care for it, because me as a wrestling fan, I like more of the natural looking wrestlers. I like the real names. That's why I always went more for WCW, NWA, now AEW and stuff, because I like that more, like it's a person that you could see every day over something bright, colorful characters and stuff like that. It's cool to see, like for little kids, but me, I just like seeing a more regular looking person. That's why I always steer more towards like, a Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, real names. They just look natural clothing. They ain't got on no tights, colorful.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's one of the things that appealed to a lot of fans with The Undertaker when he became the American Badass, the biker. I think that's what appealed. I know you don't like him, D-Ray. I know you don't like that one. But there's a lot of people out there who do, and I think that's kind of that route. It was kind of like, he's like, here, let me do this or I'm going to WCW. That's pretty much what it was, in my opinion. It's like, yeah, let me do this or I'm going to WCW. Okay, we'll go and do that. Are you going to do WrestleMania and SummerSlam moments also? I don't know, Jerry. I might do a WrestleMania one because I think that might be kind of cool. Because there's a ton of those, more so than there are like top Royal Rumble moments. Because I'm new to Royal Rumble. What should I start watching? Any physical media you would recommend that covers Royal Rumbles?
Royal Rumble anthologies.
Yes, there are. There's anthologies. How many are there?
If you got Peacock, you can just go on WWE.
Yes. Or you could go into any Walmart, like a couple weeks after the event, get the DVD right there and everything. Which is funny that a company like WWE's not putting them out on, like, even though they shoot them in 4K or Blu-ray, that it's not coming out that just
I would
DVD.
love to see something like that in 4K.
True story for WrestleMania. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a WrestleMania. Just release that on the 4K format. So every year, that way it's one big one that you're doing. Have you started watching any of those? Have you started watching any of those anthologies you got, D-Ray?
Not yet.
No. Any particular year that interests you from the years that you have in those anthologies?
80s, 90s always interest me most. I know the Royal Rumble wasn't until I think 90 or 91.
Yeah,
that's when it started.
So yeah. So we're at number one now. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So D-Ray, what is your number one?
So Mega Mike just asked a question. I didn't want to answer it truthfully yet because I knew it was going to be my number one, but he said, I'm new to the Royal Rumble. Which should I start watching? So for me, if you're going to watch the actual Royal Rumble match, my number one is 1992. Full of so many superstars. Probably one of the best endings you can get for WrestleMania. You had Sid Vicious, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair. Sid Vicious tosses Hulk Hogan out. The crowd goes crazy because at that point, a lot of people was kind of over Hulk Hogan, always being at the top in the spotlight and things like that. So to see him get eliminated was kind of big. Yes. Yeah. You had Ric Flair. I think he was like the number 2 entrant, lasted all the way through, ended up winning thanks to Sid helping, thanks to Hogan helping get Sid out the ring. So, that was a pretty cool moment, especially for Flair to be over and get a championship there in WWF. He's been in every territory before that. So it was one of the better ones, chock full of superstars. There was a ton of people that's already in the Hall of Fame, so they're still going to get there at some point. If you want to, you can Google the list of everybody that was in there, but it had to be at least, it's usually like 30 in the Royal Rumble. There had to be at least like 15 to 20 that was like grade A level wrestlers at that time.
Legit, that could have won it. Yeah. Was that the year that the Mega Power split?
Was that the year? Yeah, I believe so. Because Savage was in it,
Yeah,
Undertaker was in it, Shawn Michaels was in it.
yeah. That was the year that Hogan eliminated Macho, and he comes right back into the ring and gets in Hogan's face. Yeah, that's a good scene. That's a very good scene. Speaking of earlier Rumbles, mine is not necessarily that early. Mine goes all the way back to 1995 when one man entered. When one man entered and went all the way from number 1 to 30. The first time it's ever happened. And that is HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Like, that's a feat of itself, especially with a guy who at the time was not necessarily a high flyer, but someone who was in that skill set, a light heavyweight, someone who you're in this new attitude, this new era of the WWE, and all of a sudden WWF at the time, and it's who are you going to place as your top guy?
Yep.
And I think that this was the time. It's like, let's see what you can do, kid. Go out there at number 1.
Yeah.
And then
that was just those years where Vince seen something in HBK and just really pushed him. Of course, you can say he did it in the wrong way, as far as business, but he knew that was the guy.
He knew that Shawn had something.
Yeah.
And I will have to agree with that. He knew he had something, and that was one of those things that he had that would carry it on. That would carry it on forever in that way. So, yeah, I mean, besides him, there's only been Chris Benoit and Edge who've done it since one. And that Chris Benoit story is, I know what happened and everything with Benoit, but his story for that year, here's a guy who's an outsider from WWE his whole career, wins it, and then he has that awesome WrestleMania moment with Eddie, where they're both champs, holding up, celebrating together. And here's two guys who you could honestly say were the backbone of WCW for years.
Yeah.
And here they are.
Despite, that was a bad situation outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
But his in the ring, he was he didn't talk much. You couldn't deny his in ring work. That dude was great.
Oh yeah. And I mean, out of the 4 horsemen, or the Radicals as they were called, I mean, out of all of them, he was the only one who actually stayed true to his character that he had in WCW.
Yeah. So it was him, Eddie, Perry, Saturn,
and Dean Malenko.
Dean Malenko,
Yes. Dean Malenko ended up becoming like a ladies' man, which never worked. It's like Dancing Land. It's like Dancing Land Storm. It's like that, and it's also like Perry Saturn becoming Moppy. Eddie Guerrero was kind of the same character, but he kind of switched gears a little bit,
and the crowd got behind him.
Exactly, and that just shows you it's like that Jericho effect that they had. Here was Jericho coming in as the Y2K bug, the killer of this era, against The Rock. Who better to throw him against than The Rock, his first feud that he had. And then all of a sudden you ended up becoming not only you're a champ there, but your first ever undisputed champ when they bought out WCW, and he ended up holding up both title belts and doing it that way. So yeah. So I see that Cal just showed up. Hey Cal, how's it going, man? I just want to say this, Cal, Jerry, Mike, everyone else who's watching, if you're familiar with the Rumble match, tell us what your top 3 are yourselves.
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to know any great moments. I mean, you really got to be your top 3. Throw some out there. We'll talk about it. So I still got a few in my head. As we, I'll bring up another one.
Yes, go for it.
You had I think it's probably, I might say top 3 tag teams ever, if not 2, maybe number 2. But for me, it's always going to be Road Warriors Legion of Doom as number 1. But you had another team right behind them, I think they've held a title everywhere they've been, multiple titles. But for me, the Road Warriors always going to be number one because they just, they did it in so many territories at an early stage, multiple times. The effect that they just had on people, the wrestlers, but Dudley Boys, when they went up against Christian and Edge and won the titles at the Royal Rumble, that was a very good match. So they finally got that title in a new in WWE. So they held titles everywhere they've been. So
yeah, and I agree with that. Even though Legion of Doom or Road Warriors changed the way you look at wrestlers, a tag team, because usually it was like two guys who were very small, and they were the bigger guys in their time period too. So it's like, if it wasn't for them, we would have gotten the likes of maybe we would have gotten the Dudley Boys. We would have gone, who's another bigger team? The Nasty Boys. I want to say Public Enemy, but I mean, I'm thinking more popular. We would not have probably gotten Street Profits because they're two bigger gentlemen as well too.
Yeah, and then there's another team a lot of people don't know about. You'd have to go back to some very indie stuff back in the 80s, but yeah, Sting and Ultimate Warrior was a tag team before they became their characters.
Exactly.
They looked huge in the ring together.
Yeah. Even Bradshaw and the Blackjacks, him and Mulligan.
Yeah.
I think that's something that they need to do. I mean, the Royal Rumble is a great concept, but give us a tag team Rumble match where you have the tag teams that you have wrestle together and they have a shot coming in for one of the major for the tag belts. I think it would just add a little spin on everything. That you already have the women's, you have the men's. You might as well do a tag team. That way, you have all three of your major ones together. Right. Yeah. At Mania, so it's like that's crazy. We mentioned Roman earlier. I was looking up stuff right here. As who defended the title during the Rumble match. And it was that one was Roman that year. There was also, I think there was also one other one. Let me just scroll down through this list.
Yeah, it's really weird how they do that sometimes. The Royal Rumble winner also becomes like the champion. I know that's how Flair got his belt that year in '92. He was also came back because champion in that Rumble.
It was Vince McMahon that year because I think was it the Stone Cold year, his first year he won it against Vince, that the champ was in there at that point in time too, I believe, because Vince came in at number 1 and Stone Cold was in at 3, and it was the thing of Stone Cold was in at 2, Vince was in at 1, and it was that whole thing of, hey, Boss versus Stone Cold versus McMahon building up to this. And I mean, that was a great story right there of itself in a Rumble match as well. So like you were saying with the Dudleys, it was a was there a TLC match, a Rumble one?
Did they have a TLC at the Royal Rumble?
I don't know.
I want to say I could be wrong though, but I think they have.
I think the big one the big one I'm referring to was a Mania one, but I think they had one. Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking that up myself.
Yeah, I'm checking it. I'm not too sure.
Do. Oh, tag team championships. So. Well, because it doesn't seem like they do much in the way of gimmick matches other than the Rumble at the Rumble. But I could honestly say one other one that they could have done. It doesn't need to be its own pay-per-view, but Money in the Bank. I honestly don't think Money in the Bank needs to be its own pay-per-view. I think having it here at the Rumble makes sense. They should, Jerry, they should make the Rumble match the championship match. If not, make it all, if you want to redo your roster of who's the champs, make the final 4 your big 4 titles. make them each of your heavyweights, and make them each of the U.S. and IC titles. So whoever the last 4 are in that order, it's like whoever is eliminated is U.S. Whoever is eliminated is Intercontinental, then World Heavy, then Universal now, and then WWE that way. So top memory is tables match. Hardy jumping from the rafter through the table. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the match I was referring to. That one. Rumble 2000. When you mean Rumble 2000, Cal, do you mean the entire event or just the match in and of itself? So, but anyways, yeah. Honestly, I mean, so you know what, D-Ray? When Danny comes in, we could get him his 3. So let's just go into our next one, which is our predictions for the event, for our show. So Royal Rumble has 5 matches this year, 2 of which are the Rumble match, and 3 individual matches. So we'll probably start with whatever which will open up the show, in my opinion. Bianca versus Alexa.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think is going to open it. Also.
Yeah, because I could see this match leading right into the women's Rumble match, because whoever wins this match will sit out ringside for it and be like and watch the match. And that's why I'm like, and as of right now, as of yesterday's Raw 30, that is, we only have 7 announced female competitors in that match. Who do you have? Sorry, before we get to that one, who do you have in this match, D-Ray?
This match, of course, Bianca. Bianca's got to go to WrestleMania as the champ. I mean, they haven't really pushed that whole gimmick with what Alexa's going to be doing with Bray. It seems like it's probably going to be the same thing, since he's going to be the Fiend again. It's looking like that she'll be her character once again. So I don't see her I don't see them going ahead and putting the belt on her before they reveal her character with Bray Wyatt. So Bianca.
I hear you on that one. Yeah, I agree with that. And speaking of which, next up would be the women's Rumble match. So far, we have Liv Morgan, Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, Zelina Vega, and Emma announced for this match. There's 7. 7 females announced for this match. So who do you think is going to get the call up, if anyone, from NXT for this match?
Yeah, I can see Toxic Attraction, Nikita Lyons. I haven't watched NXT in a very long time. So I don't know who all the ladies are over there, but I know those are the names that always get talked about, and you can tell they're kind of getting that push to come up onto the main stage. So, and I believe someone was there last year for the Royal Rumble. So I can see them again.
Yeah, I agree with you there, D-Ray. Yeah, I think we'll see. What's her face? Katana, Casey Catanzaro, or whoever her character's name is now. Because, like you said with Naomi earlier, she's one of those, because of her Ninja Warrior stuff, could actually do that crazy stuff like she has. Anybody but Ronda would be cool. Yeah, Ronda's probably gonna be in this match too.
Even somebody's coming back. Is it Chelsea Green?
Yes.
Yes. So she'll probably be in it.
Yeah, she'll be in it. I have a feeling we'll see her. We'll see Ronda, Charlotte, Shotzi will be in it. Like they're saying, oh, look, these are the only ones we have confirmed. But you look at your poster right here, and literally you see Charlotte right there. You see Becky in the forefront, and they haven't came in. Asuka's right back there. So maybe a return. Maybe Asuka's return, because we haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah, and then you'll have your about 10 legends / divas, same old ones coming back again.
Yeah. Although who is one, D-Ray, one female that hasn't been in a Rumble match that you would want to see? Who could come back? Yeah.
Oh, who would I like to see come back?
Yes.
Yeah. Old wrestler?
Yeah.
Jeez. None of them really. Oh, AJ Lee. That's about it.
AJ Lee. Okay.
That'll be the only one.
Honestly, you know who I think we're going to probably see this year? Twin Magic.
Bellas.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't see it with them. I don't know why people like them so much. To me, they weren't even great wrestlers. Like, it's just, I guess, their gimmick and who
maybe.
they are. Like, I don't, the wrestling stuff, I never saw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Me neither. Just trying to think of who else from past eras that they've haven't had yet. Jacqueline. I mean, besides that, Ivory. Uh, oh no, they had Ivory. That's right. She wasn't her right to censor gimmick. Uh,
Wouldn't mind seeing some of the Stardom girls. Maybe if they
yeah,
bring like
yeah,
one or two
yeah. I
New
mean,
Japan.
I mean, I wouldn't even mind seeing them bring up like a Tessa Blanchard. I know her name's kind of poison in
Yeah,
people's
people
mouths and
still
everything.
scared to bring her up.
Yeah, yeah, but I could see someone like her. Or I mean, if you're able to do that one match with Mickey, maybe get a couple females from Impact, like a Jordan Grace, because I would love to see a Jordan Grace in the ring with Rhea
Yeah,
and go like pound for pound, um, just the way they both lift and they work out how they can go toe to toe with the men and hold their own. Yeah, yeah, I agree that those ones would be the ones I would want to see. Oh, what Lacey Evans, because the promo is like Cody's. Yeah, Lacey Evans is going to show up there with a new gimmick. Charlotte's in there. Charlotte's in there. Watch it be one of the final four is going to be. Who do you think are going to be the final four in that match, D-Ray?
Charlotte, Ronda, Becky, Bailey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If not Rhea, unless you want to switch one out for Rhea.
yeah. I completely agree. That's where it shows like it's going and everything. So, oh, maybe you get Bailey in here too. Maybe you get her cronies in here as well too. I mean, I don't see this match being any higher up on the card than maybe the opener or the number 2 match of the night. So our next one is what I know neither one of us is looking forward to. The one that's named after soda or pop, a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. And there was like no build up to what this match was. It's like we're going to a Pitch Black match. Like halfway through their feud, it's like, what is this match? Like they usually give you a little hints of what the match type is. We know nothing about this. Is it that
Right.
they're? Is it that blue? Is it that kind of purplish light thing we've seen with Judgment Day, where their shadows are cast? Are they doing it in there? Is it more of a thematic or cinematic match, like they've been doing at WrestleMania for a few years and everything like that? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Based off what WWE's done in the past with Army of the Dead, Pizza Hut, and the other
Yeah,
gimmick stuff, I'm not looking forward to it.
no. Maybe what it is, it's just they chug Mountain Dew Pitch Black the entire match. Whoever chugs the most wins. That'll be a different match. I'm not looking forward to this match. I mean, is it good to see Bray back? It is, but
Yeah.
it almost seems like the same old, same old. And I'm just glad they put LA Knight back as LA Knight. But
Because my
I'm going,
question is with him. Sorry to get off subject because it's not
yeah,
really about the Royal Rumble, but even with Bray, okay, after this, you've had this long, drawn out storyline with him and LA Knight. We're
uh,
finally gonna see him in the ring. First time on TV. Of course, he wrestled at Manhattan that night.
yeah.
What's after this? Are we gonna see another long storyline with another wrestler?
I honestly don't know. Well, like
Definitely not about to go for the title.
no,
So it's
he's
like,
not.
what's next? Are we gonna see the same old thing again? Because and if he's gonna be the Fiend, are you gonna enter that same territory where he's like he can't be beaten?
But
So it's
honestly,
weird.
I understand they wanted Bray in a match at the Rumble. I understand that. But I mean, to me, something like this, like if you're building a long plan with Bray, whatever that is, or building a long feud like this, to me, this should culminate at Mania, not at the Royal Rumble. But that's just me. And I mean, LA Knight's too good on the mic, and I kind of like him so much. Dummy, yeah.
Stone Cold wannabe.
Yeah. His charisma's through the roof. I think
Yeah.
pairing him with Bray to begin with works. But in my opinion, this match, if LA Knight doesn't win, it's a detriment to his character. And then bringing him back as LA Knight. Because then it, to me, just shows me they don't have faith in him and he's just a mid-card guy. So, I mean, Bray, we obviously know, is probably going to win this match. But the question is, does Howdy show up? Which is really weird. But which version of Howdy? The one with the full mask? The one with the mouth open? I mean, this Bray story is just getting weird because he's now Firefly Funhouse Bray again. And so it's like, okay. Like, is this... what are you doing here? And I'm not looking forward to this match. I would be shocked if, like, I know I said the Bianca Alexa match was probably opening up. This is probably opening up to the night, in my opinion, because it's uncharted territory. They don't know. We don't know what to expect. It will be fresh in their minds, and it will be like people will be talking about during some of the low points of the Rumble matches themselves. So I don't see this being right before the men's Rumble match. I see this somewhere where it currently is, either in the middle of the card or at the front end of the card. One of the two. And now the match that people have been talking about. Roman Reigns versus KO, Kevin Owens. Who do you have in this one?
It's got to be Roman. I don't see you taking no belt off of him until WrestleMania. Him and the Usos.
Yes, I agree completely. The Bloodline's going to hold all the titles until Mania. Just because it just makes more sense to have someone win it at Mania. But the question is, go.
I can see him losing by disqualification. I can see them kind of culminating this whole Sami Zayn situation. To where something happens and Sami gets him disqualified. And KO wins that way, but not win the titles. But I don't see the titles coming.
Which Roman will be pissed about it with Sami getting DQ'd, but is also glad at the same time that, oh, I'm still champ. Okay. Kind of like how this past Monday night, he's like, where Jay says, oh, look at what he's done. Look at what he's done. And it's like, okay. It's like this version of Roman's almost kind of brain dead. Kind of like, you could confuse him easily. So it's like, really? I'm like, this is just ridiculous for me. This version of Roman that they have, and then Kale. I'm like, there's a former Universal Champion who, is he a top guy? Is he not? Or is he just one of those guys that is a good worker and you're going to get a good match out of him? So we're just going to throw him into random feuds. I don't see KO ever holding the main belt again, in my opinion.
Not right now. No. Not for a while. Not if depending on the situation with what goes on. I think we have to wait till Mania to see.
Yeah.
Because I think the next best person up, if you're going to take him off Roman, is Cody. It just makes sense right now. I don't see Sami Zayn being that guy.
Now we're talking about the last match of the night, the Rumble match again. So, as of right now, we know 15 of the 30 entrants. We have Kofi Kingston, obviously. We know there's going to be a spot there where he doesn't get eliminated because of doing something. Santos Escobar, Ricochet, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, Rey Mysterio, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, Omos, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Karrion Kross. So, in other words, we have 15. We have half the roster, half of the men's roster lined up, and we know Cody's in it because we know that. I can also guarantee you that Brock's probably going to be in there because you don't bring him back for Raw 30 without it being ready for the Rumble. Myself.
Yeah, because I think it's gonna be like him and Lashley are gonna eliminate each other and fight their way out the arena or something like that.
Exactly. Which, don't get me wrong, I know we've already seen that feud. In my opinion, that's a good feud for both of them. Even though we've seen it many times, I can see it culminate kind of like they did with Riddle and the fight pit.
Yeah.
They did with Riddle, where it's kind of like a UFC match culminating between those two men. I would love to see that, like an MMA style fight between those two in the WWE. So, I mean, it's believable for both men to be there. Who else do you see in this match coming in?
I see. I see Cody winning. Of course, there'll be very few legends, probably less legends with this match than the women's.
I'm calling at least three. I'm calling at least three.
I said I can't think of people who's in NXT right now. Maybe Braun Breaker. Is he still down there?
Yeah, he is.
Probably him, Carmelo Hayes, and what's that one guy's name?
Grayson Waller.
Yeah, he could be.
Yeah. Because I see Grayson as a future Miz, so I could see him being up there too. So that will give us 18, 3 legends. That's 21. 9 other spots filled. I mean, we talked about Chelsea Green in the women's one. Do we get a Matt Cardona?
You'll probably get, of course, I don't think you said Omos. Of course, he'll be in there. They love having the big guys in there, even though they're never going to win, but they'll bring them.
Yes. Omos is in there. Just because he's a huge guy, and that's going to be something to. He might do a great call in and eliminate himself, trying to get someone out, and he like kind of steps over the rope himself and be like, "Hey, look, no, you just did this, dude. What happened? Why did you do that?" In this match myself, yeah, I can see a Matt Cardona showing up. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to have Chelsea, you might as well bring in Matt. I mean, that would pop through the roof as long as you don't make him Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
Because he went for, 2 years now and built himself up as Matt Cardona and is an NWA champion. So, yeah, you bring him back as Matt Cardona and just for one night that way. One I would have said was a possibility, but now he's an Impact, was Santino Marella. I mean, there's a guy who's a comedy guy, but yet still would be an interesting person in this matchup and everything.
Yep.
So
you'll probably get Titus running down there again,
and sliding down
like he's about to slide or whatever. Yeah,
Hornswoggle showing up underneath the ring, climbing up that way. Honestly, how many of the other bloodline members do you think we'll see in this match?
You probably see Solo Skull. I doubt you see the Usos. It's possible, but I kind of doubt them. And you still got the members of Judgment Day.
Yeah, Finn, Dom, and Damien.
There's definitely enough men to cover it without a bunch of legends, but the women, I think they'll have to cover that with a bunch of legends.
Do you think we'll see the one that everyone's talking about? Do you think The Rock will show up during this match?
I really don't.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. I really don't think we're going to see him. I really don't think we're going to see The Rock because he even states he's not wrestling ready.
It would depend because it's a 2-night WrestleMania. So it depends on how they're going to do it because that'll totally overshadow Cody.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I can either see Cody winning this or a wild horse in the mix, Sammy winning it.
Yeah.
Just because of the way they're building him and Roman and the tension between the bloodline between them, I can see Sammy in the Rumble match and winning it, facing Roman at Mania, and Roman asking him to lay down.
Because I can see them being like the last 4: Seth, Cody, maybe KO, and Sammy.
Yeah,
that would be kind of crazy.
It would. I would have loved to see AJ Styles this year in this match because of him and Cody and the Bullet Club references in there. But AJ's injured, so
I can see somebody, Triple H is high on like a Johnny Gargano, so I can see him getting a big push through this match to try to get more eyes on him.
Miz, Dolph Ziggler probably in here. So I mean, they're doing nothing with the Miz. I mean, You throw him in here, you probably make him one of the final 5 or final 6, maybe even the final 4.
Is Champ about ready to come back? Do we get DIY together in the Royal Rumble?
This is why I said we needed a tag Royal Rumble, because that would be perfect as DIY shows up as they're in. Yeah, that would be perfect. Maybe they're holding out on us, and maybe we're getting a Billy Gunn return at the Rumble. Maybe. I highly doubt it though, but that was like last night when Triple H. I saw the video clip of Triple H getting Gunther's face, and I'm going, "Oh no!" What's he gonna say? He's like, "I write your checks." Oh no, I'm retired. That's all he says. It's like, really, really.
Yeah, I heard it was a really good show last night. I missed out on it.
Yeah, I heard so too. I mean, despite the Hulk Hogan mic issue that they had going on at the beginning of the show, it's not evident on the video replays of it, but I heard live that his mic kept going in and out every time he was talking, so he kept asking for another mic. And at one point, Jimmy Hart just held up his megaphone to Hogan's mouth, and Hogan just starts talking through that. So, but I mean, say what you will about Hogan. I mean, it was nice seeing Hart last night. Jimmy Hart. That's one guy. That's one guy who you never see in things like this, that I love seeing. So who do you think at the Royal Rumble? Because this is usually the show that they introduce you the first Hall of Fame inductee. Who is it? Who do you think they're going to show? And are they doing it a theme this year? Because Mania's in Hollywood.
It'll be somebody outside of wrestling, I bet.
Yeah. But who? Someone who has done wrestling appearances and there. Do you put in a Gronk?
It's a good one.
Do you put in Pat McAfee?
I think it's too soon.
Too soon? Okay. Too soon. Bad Bunny, Logan Paul.
Yeah, I think it's too soon for those two. Trying to think of someone from the entertainment that's been on there a few years back or something that we kind of forgot about. But I do think it's not going to be a wrestler. I think it'll be somebody from the entertainment aspect. That's
you have it in Hollywood this year. Yeah, you have to have it in Hollywood, and it only makes sense. I mean, I would have said The Rock, but we already know he's in the Hall. So, Cena, or is it too soon?
That's what I was just thinking, but it would be weird because you just seen him wrestle.
Yeah.
Once last September, and then just now.
Yes.
And then you got, what about like has Mark Wahlberg ever done anything with WWE?
No. Is Tyson in?
I want to say he is.
Yeah, okay.
He may not be though. I'd have to look.
How about someone? How about like how they had that Tyson Fury and Cain Velasquez thing?
Mm-hmm.
They could do one of them. Oh, there's a good one from Holland. Hugh Jackman. That's someone who I know has done some stuff with them. Stephen Amell.
Tyson is in already.
Okay, Stephen Amell. But Stephen Amell's not big enough, in my opinion, for that. You would need someone like a caliber of Hugh Jackman, in my opinion, to try and draw him in if it's not any wrestler this year. I'm trying to think. Too soon for Machine Gun Kelly.
Let's see.
Do you do?
Could be Johnny Knoxville. Could be one.
Yeah, could be. Oh, Jerry's in Batista.
Yeah,
I mean
Batista.
that would be a big enough name and someone who would be Hollywood related. You know who is another one who's Hollywood related who deserves to be in the Hall? Goldust. And that's a hill I will die on. So for that. But I could see Batista. I can see Hugh Jackman. The Muppets. They had that. They've done a couple things with the WWE. Who else? Well, Shaq.
That's Floyd Mayweather as he went into the WWE.
No, Floyd Mayweather had. Yeah, Floyd. Shaq. Yeah. Shaq would be a good one. That's someone who could not only carry the Hall of Fame, who could carry that entire class via wise. It all depends. If Shaq would overshadow somebody, whoever it is, the big name wrestler who's in the Hall this year. Goldust is the GOAT. Yes, he is. Holland. But
let's see. Alice Cooper. Has done stuff for WWE. Flow Rider.
The CFOs. We're thinking movie star. Do we actually go musician here? Like Cyndi Lauper from back in the day, stuff like that. Do we actually literally go a musician this year?
Yeah, I think Snoop Dogg already in the Hall of Fame, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's in already.
All right.
Yeah, I think it might be an artist. It's either gonna be an artist or an actor.
Yeah. Well, like wrestler wise, who do you have this year?
Oh, yeah, I couldn't tell you because I can't think of somebody that's been snubbed for a while.
Because here's the thing, I know next year we're in Philadelphia for Mania. And that's going to probably be an ECW themed class, in my opinion. So you're going to get the ECW wrestlers, and they're probably like the Dudley Boys going in as a team. Dreamer, RVD. Is this the year?
How current is this list? Trying to see how current this list is. Last year, Big Show still not in there.
Nope.
So Big Show, Batista,
Mark Henry. Do they just put in all the AEW wrestlers that formerly?
That's what I was about to say, because Jericho's still not in there, but they're not going to do that. He's in AEW.
Well, they would probably put him in for Fozzy, if anything, in there. Punk.
Haku might go in there because of the whole Rock and
yeah. Haku, Rikishi.
Dang, IRS ain't in there yet.
No, really.
Jim Cornette ain't in there.
Okay, there's your manager is probably Cornette, even though that would be an unpopular opinion in most people's minds. Who's the female who goes?
Elizabeth ain't in there.
There's your female this year. There's your female, Miss Elizabeth. Yeah, you would think she would be. Like.
When is Shane going in?
The moment Steph goes in. Shane's going in the moment Vince goes in. So there you go. That would tell you never.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put Great Muta in there.
Oh, that's one. Do you think they do something for
or Ricky Steamboat?
Yeah. Even though he was never in the WWE, do you think they do something for Jay Briscoe?
No.
No. Okay. Or at least I'm not talking the Hall, but I'm talking at least something at the show.
Probably not.
No. Okay. It was nice to see at least that on NXT when Vic said our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and everything. Gotta get Owen Hart in there somehow. Yeah, I agree.
Regal.
Is the
Could Regal go in there?
Yeah. Is the foundation in there? Is the Hart Foundation in there?
I don't think what's the name is. I don't think Owens won yet.
No. Okay, you put in the Hart Foundation, and then you put in Owen the following year.
But I think, they said, because Martha didn't want him to go in there, and now she's working with AEW.
Yeah.
So they probably still won't put Owen in there.
Oh, I honestly don't know that. William Regal, maybe. But I know he can't be on TV until after Mania, so. I mean, family-wise, look at current wrestlers who are there. Is this the year of Rey Mysterio going? Is WrestleMania his last match? If WrestleMania is his last match, I could see them putting in Rey this year. But beyond that, I don't see Rey going in this year. Like I said, if that was the case that way. Who else? Tag team wise.
Steiners.
Yeah, because of Braun. Yeah. That's the only way you're getting. Well, I shouldn't. Steiners. How about the Outsiders? National Hall as a team. They're in there with the NWO already. I mean, they were a tag team. There you go. Jagoda showed up. Hey, man.
What's going on, Jagoda?
Hey, Jagoda, what's your top Royal Rumble moment? Let us know. Yeah. It's gonna be something weird. Well, like it's gonna be someone who we're not even thinking of. There you go. There's Jerry's answer. Goldberg.
They need to and leave him out of the ring.
Exactly. Shamrock. But I mean, that's not a big enough name, though. Jagoda says when Stone Cold came out last and behind everyone. Oh yeah, I remember that Rumble. Yeah, his music plays, everyone stops, looks at the ramp, and he just sneaks in behind them. Yeah, that was a good one. So, what is that? Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon's not going in.
No,
Vince don't like his own family.
No. Does the corporation go in as a faction? Do we have the Brood going in? I mean,
probably not. It's Edge still going, so
okay. Yeah, I'm going. Is Christian in it?
I don't think so. Not as a singles.
There you go. Put in Christian as a singles.
Yeah, they ain't doing that. They steering clear of anything AEW doing. See, they ain't even let call it come for the DX thing.
Might
as well put Sasha in at this point if she ain't coming back.
True. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Monet or is it Money? Because she that's what I think. But she says you always bank on money, and it's like at the end, I'm like, did she just say her own name wrong? But jeez. Because women wise, besides maybe Mickey James, there isn't really anyone else. And Miss Elizabeth, like you said. But beyond that, there's nobody else I would see. Steph.
Yeah.
Because they have.
That you're going to let Undertaker induct his wife. I don't think she in there yet.
Oh, Michelle McCool. Yeah, I can see that. Maurice, maybe. But she's still every now and again is doing something with the Miz. So Beth is already in. Just trying to think. Do you put Tamina in? That way she's off of our TVs.
No, she's done absolutely nothing.
Well, she's family of The Rock. So anyone who's a family member of The Rock gets in the Hall of Fame. That's the rules. Well, I hate to do this derate to Danny, but I mean, we've really been.
It's been a whole hour now.
It's been a whole hour. Rob Van Dam. Jerry, I think that will actually be next year's. I think he'll be headlining next year's because next year's will be in Philly. It just makes more sense to have the ECW guys be there for ECW in Philly. So just imagine that pop when they announce RVD in that class at WrestleMania in Philly. So that's what the thing is. Yeah, like I said, I hate to do this for Danny, but it's been an hour. And I just want to say thank you for everyone who's shown up. Thank you for everyone who's, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, hit that thumbs up and then throw it over the rope like in the Royal Rumble match. And remember, the Royal Rumble was this Saturday, which is weird, but they do it. They did it on Saturday this year because of playoff football, which makes sense because they know they weren't going.
Definitely can't go head to head with that.
No, they definitely can't. So they know that that's a sacred cow, and so that's smart of them to place it on a Saturday. I'm shocked that this hasn't gone two days yet. The Royal Rumble, I'm shocked. Yeah. But anyways, I want to say thank you for everyone for coming. Thanks everyone for watching, and remember, just because we're movie lovers doesn't mean that there's nothing, that there isn't sometimes something more than movies. And that's what this was. This was a more than movies. Number 2, because my first one was that superhero one you were on, D-Ray.
Yep.
So this was more than movies. And I'm going to do a few more of these throughout the year. Maybe one more throughout this year, and then just do a live stream of stuff that people love that are just more than movies. Like music, sports, talking, stuff like that. Just throwing it out there because there's a lot more to the collecting hobby than just collecting movies. And until next time, D-Ray, you have anything coming up? Video-wise?
Not that I can think of at the moment, no.
Nope. Okay. I have my Rewind coming out next week, next Friday. I'm excited for that. Walmart Wednesday coming out tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. However, like, if you guys haven't known, I do pre-record them, and this one actually is a pretty fun one. So, yeah. And I will see you guys actually next time, right here on my channel. Peace.
Peace.